everybody. We are back. Ho, 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 everybody. We are back again to talk a little NFL football. This is our Christmas edition of NFL football. Otherwise, we'd look silly.
We hope you had a Merry Christmas.
We
and
hope
we
you
hope
had
you also have a very Merry New Year.
A very Happy New Year and very Merry Christmas. Yes, we are here to recap
Week 16.
Week 16 already and do our predictions
on the final regular season week.
The last regular season week of the NFL. Now, don't get me wrong. I love me some playoff football. That's exciting football. But, man, it's sad to see the season go. It's been a up and down season, but there's been a lot of good, fun football in it. But anyways, let's go ahead and recap. We had 3 games on Saturday. So we need to recap those 3 games. First of all, we had the Texans at the Buccaneers.
If you want to be in the holiday spirit, no one could be as giving as Jameis Winston.
He has gave more interceptions this year than any NFL quarterback. By far, any NFL quarterback.
If we all were as giving as Jameis Winston, then
such a big heart.
The world would be a better place.
Yeah, it would be. But he still almost won the game. Man, he's got a lot of potential, but he just can't quit throwing interceptions. He even had a pick 6 in this one. He even gave him 6 points. Here's the ball and 6 points.
So, here you go, Texans. Here's the division.
Yeah.
We don't want it. Here you go.
No, so the Texans won 23-20. The second game that week we had the Bills at the Patriots. The Bills played a pretty tough game. They played a really good game, but the Patriots still won it. Bills aren't quite up to that caliber yet. Maybe next year. The Bills are a young team, so maybe next year. Patriots won 24-17 on that one.
So you got AFC East Division crown for the 11th straight year.
Yeah, they haven't had any competition in it. I mean, really?
I mean, yeah, you got the Bills who are rising right now.
The Bills are rising. The Jets are rising. Miami still sucks.
Miami does stink.
They stink, but that's okay. The 2 New York teams, the Jets and the Bills, are rising up. So and the Bills really look good. So the last game of that day, we had the Rams at the 49ers.
The Rams' playoff hopes are as dead as their Super Bowl championship hopes were in the last year's Super Bowl.
Yeah, last year's Super Bowl team, the Rams, will not make the playoffs.
Who would have thought that to begin the season?
No, the Rams looked like a good team. I don't know, they started out the gate wrong. They just didn't look right the whole entire year, did they? Man, something was off in them.
The 49ers have an opportunity to either claim the division or fall to the 5 seed.
Or 5, yeah. It's going to be an interesting week this week. We'll jump into the Sunday games. We had the Jaguars at the Falcons. We picked the Falcons on that one. Falcons won pretty easy.
The Dirty Birds flap their wings all over the Jaguars.
Who are going to
let go of their head coach, Doug Marrone, as soon as Week 17 concludes.
Yeah, he gets to coach through this weekend, and then after that, new coaching staff. New GM. They got rid of their GM. They're going to have
Hall.
Yeah. We had the Ravens at the Browns. The Ravens won that pretty handily.
They clinched home field throughout the AFC playoffs.
Home field. That means the Super Bowl goes through
Baltimore.
Even if New England wants to get to their 120th Super Bowl, they got to go through Baltimore, which has already beat
New England in the regular season.
We had the Saints at the Titans. The Titans put up a good game again. But
New Orleans is trying to get locked in onto a bye.
Drew Brees is Drew Brees. Yeah, they have a chance for the 2 seed if things fall correctly this week. But we'll talk about that here when we go over Week 17. We had the Panthers at the Colts, and the Panthers
were blown out of the water.
38-6. Yeah, the Panthers are looking forward to next year, and they need to get them a nice, vibrant, young-minded a really good coach. And then get a good draft pick. I still think they need to keep Cam Newton. I'm a Cam Newton fan. I think he's got some potential with the right coach. The same thing as I was talking about Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson wouldn't be Lamar Jackson. They built a system around his strengths. If somebody would build a system around Cam Newton's strengths, they would be a good team. But we'll see what happens there. We had the Bengals at the Dolphins in the Who Cares Bowl.
Was actually exciting.
It was an exciting game. Went to overtime. And I thought the Bengals were going to win, and they did. They clinched the number 1 draft pick.
Well, the Bengals are winners by losing here.
They're there. They picked up Joe Burrow. Yeah, they picked up Joe Burrow in that loss. So it's not a bad loss. Not a bad loss. We had the Steelers at the Jets. Jets. Jets beat the Steelers.
The Jets put a dent in the Steelers' playoff positioning.
They're that close to not making the playoffs now. This weekend's going to be make it or break it for them. But again, we'll jump into week 17. We had the Giants at the Redskins in the other Who Cares Bowl. That one went to overtime.
Both the Bengals and Dolphins games, and this game in particular, went to overtime. The teams tied 35-35.
Both teams 35-35. I think to begin with, there was like 9 wins between all 4 teams, and both of them had 35-35 going into overtime. Exciting games if you're just a football fan. I mean, it was exciting just as a football fan to watch. Didn't mean a lot. Speaking of not meaning a lot, we had the Lions at the Broncos. That didn't mean a lot either.
The Broncos get a win over the
Toothless Lions.
The Toothless Lions. They're toothless every year.
Yeah, without Matthew Stafford, they're gumming it. There's no teeth in that at all. We had the Raiders at the Chargers. The Raiders
have a very long shot to make the
playoffs, but they still couldn't make it because they beat the Chargers there 24-17. Again, we'll run through some scenarios, but basically, if Tennessee
and Pittsburgh both lose, and Indianapolis wins, and if the Patriots defeat the Dolphins,
somehow all those calculations work out to the Raiders making the playoffs. It's still possible, people. And I've seen crazier things happen because the Patriots are going to beat the Dolphins. The Titans could very easily lose, and Pittsburgh could very easily lose. Pittsburgh's playing Baltimore. Loss. So the Patriots are going to win. The Steelers are going to probably lose. And the Titans are playing the Texans.
And the Texans are trying to look for positioning themselves.
Yeah. So if Tennessee loses, Oakland's in.
That's one of the strangest. I've seen crazier stuff happen.
So don't be surprised if the Oakland Raiders after this weekend make it into the playoffs.
Well, I've seen it's Christmas time, so I guess it can happen.
Yeah, we had my Cowboys play the Eagles. I'm almost glad for that loss. I'm ready for this to end.
You are ready.
I'm tired of 8-8. I'm tired of 8-8.
The mediocre plan.
We're going to cruise right along and be nothing and never get a good draft pick because we're 8-8. Never win anything because we're 8-8. We're the 8-8 champions, baby. Woo! Let's get out of it. I didn't pull for the Eagles. I got to pull for but I predicted the Eagles would win, and they did.
So I guess this is just one step closer.
Yeah, my surprise game of the week, the Cardinals went into Seattle and beat the crap out of Seattle, dude. It wasn't even close. Whipped them.
They lost their starting running back, too, for the year with a hip injury.
Yeah, so they picked up Skittles.
Who do you call for the rescue?
Marshawn Lynch. And he arrived in a Cadillac Escalade, opened the doors, and 10 million Skittles fell out of the car. He is a nut. But he may be the nut they need because they looked bad now. In 27-13 they lost. We had the Chiefs at the Bears.
The Bears looked like the Bears.
The Bears looked like the Bears. And the Chiefs looked like the Chiefs.
I bet you for Bears fans it was torture watching Patrick Mahomes lead the Chiefs.
Did you see that? Did you see that the first touchdown that Mahomes got? He went out and he went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I was the 10th pick. The Bears could have had me.
They chose Mitchell Trubisky over Patrick Mahomes and Deshaun Watson. It's looking like a great move now, isn't it?
That's the Bears, man. And not only that, they gave away draft picks to do it.
They gave away draft.
That's sad. And then Monday night we had the Packers at the Vikings. We picked the Packers on that one. They won pretty easy, 23-10.
The Vikings offense in particular was bad.
Well, Cook was out. Their running back was out, and I sort of picked that. That was, if you remember right, the Packers-Vikings was my pick of the week. That was my lock of the week. The Vikings were favored in that game, weren't they? If I remember right.
At home, yeah. For some reason, without Dalvin Cook.
That was the lock of the week, baby. Picked it for you.
Well,
I hope you took it.
These Packers this year have had a knack of winning ugly.
Mm-hmm.
They don't win pretty.
But they got the running game going in this game against the Vikings. It's hard to pick against Aaron Rodgers. All right, let's go ahead. That is it for Week 16. We will jump into
the final week.
Our picks of Week 17. We'll start out with the Jets-Bills. Just as a nice, fun game.
It doesn't really mean anything.
Doesn't mean a whole lot for the Bills. The Jets would love to go out with a W, but they are at Buffalo. I don't know. What do you think?
Do you want to take the Bills?
I would probably lean on the Bills just because the team has gelled together, and the Bills should win this game. Jump into the next game. We got the Browns at the Bengals again, just for fun. Pick the Browns. Bengals don't give a flip right now, dude. They've won the Super Bowl in 2022 with Joe Burrow as their quarterback. So that's all that matters. That's all that matters. Cleveland's favored by 2.5. I would probably take Cleveland with that. We got the Packers at the Lions.
Is that even a question? Should we have to pick that?
The Packers need this win because they're playing for
the number one
seed. Now let's get into this a little bit. This will get a little bit confusing.
Here we go.
Seattle right now and San Francisco play this week.
There's a chance that Seattle can claim number one if Green Bay
loses and
New
Orleans loses and Seattle wins, they get the 1 seed. But if Seattle wins and Green Bay wins, then
Green Bay gets
the number 1, and if New Orleans wins, they get the number 2. Seattle could go to the number 2 if Seattle beats New Orleans and Green Bay wins, but New Orleans loses. That puts Seattle in the 2.
That's a lot of stuff. That's a lot of math.
And then New Orleans in the 3. So there's still a lot to be determined in the NFC this weekend. Just my preference: Seattle beating San Francisco, New Orleans and Green Bay winning. I'd like to have New Orleans number 1. I'd like to have Green Bay number 1, New Orleans number 2. Have those two sit and let the rest of them fight it out to see who's going to get to play those two. But who knows? This is going to be an exciting weekend. The Packers and the Lions.
Pick the Packers and don't go back.
That's a double digit. I got the Chargers at the Chiefs.
The Chiefs are looking for that number 2 seed. They're still in the running for it.
They need that. They need it too. This is a big giant if Miami beats New England, don't laugh too hard. If Miami beats New England, I'm just saying, man, it can happen. It can happen. If Miami beats New England and the Chiefs win, then the Chiefs get the 2 seed. So there is still a little to play there, but very not realistic. But there is a little to play there. We got the Bears at the Vikings. I think the Vikings are pretty much set in the 6th seed, aren't they?
Unless the Bears want to go for 8-8, the mediocrity plan.
Yeah. Chicago, believe it or not, is actually favored in this game. And it's probably because the Vikings don't have a lot to play for, and they may rest people. So that's a trap game, probably. I would probably still take the Vikings. I mean, plus 3.5 in Minnesota. Does Minnesota want to go into the playoffs with 2 straight losses? I'm saying no, which means I say they might want this win more than what people think they need this win. They might want this win. So I'm going to take me a little Vikings plus 3.5. So even if they lose by 3, you still win. The Dolphins at the Patriots. I guess we can always dream or wish or something.
Wish on a shooting star.
New England's favored by 16.5, and they need this game for the number 2 seed and a bye week. 16.5 is a lot of points.
What is our pick?
Realistically, really? I mean, really? What do you want? You want to take the Dolphins plus 16.5?
That would be a bit of a risk there.
Yes. It's hard to do, man. I don't know. What do you think? You think the Patriots are going to beat the living crap out of them? They will, won't they?
Let's just do that.
Okay, yeah, they'll beat the crap out of them. We got the Falcons at the Bucks. I honestly think the Bucs will probably win this one.
Okay, guys. Anybody in the comment section, our viewers, how many ints does Jameis Winston throw in this last game?
At least 3. I say he'll stay on par for 3.
We're taking 3. We got 4. We got 2.
3. How about fumbles?
How many fumbles? You got 1. You got 2.
I'll take 3 picks and 1 fumble. Yeah.
Oh, it's the ultimate New Year's Day surprise.
Hey, Jameis Winston's got a big heart. He's a giver, dude. He is a giver.
He gives interceptions to all the safeties for this Christmas.
Yeah. So anyway, I'll probably take the Bucs. The Bucs are at home playing the Falcons. Falcons have been doing pretty good lately, though. But the Bucs have been doing pretty good lately. The only thing I would give that this Bucs are home field.
If the Bucs win this, they'll be 8-8. The mediocrity plan.
Mm-hmm. If the Falcons win it, they'll be 7-9.
Mediocrity plan.
Yes. Now next game we got the Saints at the Panthers. Saints will win that one. They need this too. They're playing for the number 2 seed, so they'll definitely win that one.
We'll play for the draft.
Hey, that's the best thing to do right now. We got the Redskins at the Cowboys. Redskins are horrible. I do pick the Cowboys to win this game.
Because the Redskins are terrible.
The Redskins are horrible. The Cowboys would have to be give up at this point to not beat the Redskins. They've got this talent. Talent should win this game.
But this is Jason Garrett we're talking about.
Yes.
He will play down to his competition, and he will play up to his competition.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's Jason Garrett.
We got the Raiders at the Broncos.
The Raiders need this. Then we pick the Raiders.
I'm going to pick the Raiders.
You want to pick the Raiders?
I still think the Raiders might sneak in that last spot. I don't know. They probably will. After that, we got the Cardinals at the Rams. Doesn't really matter, but the Rams will win that one. Doesn't mean anything anymore.
9-7.
And missed the playoffs. We got the Eagles at the Giants.
The Eagles will clinch the NFC East and get their butts kicked in the playoffs.
I think the Eagles will win this.
To be honest, the NFC East is just terrible.
They're horrible. They're just beyond horrible. I heard someone today said that LSU could win the NFC East. They probably could, really. We had the Colts at the Jaguars. Colts doesn't mean anything again, but the Colts. The Jaguars have imploded and are done. They've lost their best defensive player. They're going to lose their GM. They've lost their coach. They've
lost everything.
They've lost everything. Steelers at the Ravens. This game means nothing to the Ravens.
They've sat down their starters.
It means everything for the Steelers. The Steelers are actually favored by 2 in Baltimore.
I still don't think the Ravens are going to lose in Baltimore.
You get 2 points too, plus 2. Take Baltimore plus 2. We got the Titans at the Texans.
The Texans are looking to play for the 3 seed, possibly.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you want to say Texans?
Tennessee's favored by 6 because the Texans. I don't know. That's gonna be a tough one.
What would be your pick?
We'll take the Texans plus 6. I mean, that's a lot of points to take when you're at home and you're playing for the playoffs. So I will go Texans plus 6. And then last but not least, Sunday Night Football.
The last game of the year.
We have no Monday Night Football anymore. Or Thursday Night Football anymore. Last game of the year, we have the 49ers at the Seahawks.
This determines a division.
I'm picking the Seahawks.
And a lot of seeds.
I do not think the Seahawks will lose 2 in a row at home. And they're catching 3.5 points too. So you got the Seahawks plus 3.5. It is really tough to pick the last 2 games of the year because teams throw in. They either don't play players or they quit because it doesn't mean anything, or teams will throw in anything they can because they need to win the game. It's sort of hard to pick the last 2 games of the year, but I'm still going to pick the Seahawks there. And that's it. That is the end of NFL. Regular season. We still got some playoffs and the Super Bowl to come up. We'll be back next week.
Hopefully the Super Bowl will be better than last year's.
Yeah. We'll be back next week. We'll recap Week 17 and then maybe take a little look at the wild card games coming up for the playoffs. Other than that, we are done with some NFL this week. Be sure and hit the like button, hit the subscribe button.
Send us a thought down below.
Hit the groovy baby button.
Somewhere on my face.
Other than that, we're going for this week.
See you next week.